Welcome to the Tiger Talk.
Coming to you live at the Field House in Strawn. That's a pretty good intro. That's the Strawn Tigers after Friday night's football game. They were really excited, and I really enjoyed that. I'm your co-host, Art Gilbert.
I'll be your host tonight, Andrew Carter, and we've got Coach Clint Humphrey here with us tonight. He's becoming pretty popular on these live talks, but we definitely want to get our turn too.
He's been pretty busy. The show is called Tiger Talk, so we're going to talk everything Tiger with us. And when I look at that, I know Coach Carter went to a Booster Club meeting right before this started. What's going on with the Booster Club?
Yeah, I do want to put that out there. We have a Booster Club meeting every Tuesday night, and especially for a school like Strawn, we're not a city school or anything. The funds and the opportunities to help are very, very important, and that comes from the Booster Club. And some from the Letterman's Club too, but I would encourage anybody that can come help and put forth a little effort. Everything we do goes right back into the program. They do a good job. Anything you see out there on a Friday night that helps the fan base, that helps the coaches, that helps the players, a lot of times the Booster Club's putting that together and helping Coach Hump out with things.
Who does the painting and stuff? I've seen some of the bleachers. The paintings on the asphalt.
Yeah, so for the paint and all that, that's a lot of moms.
That's a lot of mothers.
A lot of moms.
As far as the turf, the coaches do part of that, and the Booster Club does part of that as well.
Well, you see it all the time. It's really active. And this guy to my right has really tried to change the culture here, and he's done a lot of things in a short period of time. Of course, a lot of interviews too, Coach.
Yeah. This week's been. We were talking before we went on the air. This week's been a little bit of a media gauntlet. I had Andalusia Star News Monday, and then last night Powerhouse Sports. Tonight I've got this. Tomorrow I've got the regular radio interview that we do every week, and so it's been. But it's fun. Anytime I get a chance to talk about Strawn football, it's really easy to talk about our kids. So I enjoy that.
And that's what we're here for Tiger Sports Network. We want to put Strawn out there, and we do appreciate you giving us your time. I know you got a lot going on. So
you and I got to attend a few sports this week. Volleyball started. Track and field started. Yeah. Volleyball team looked pretty good, Coach.
The volleyball team looked good. They started last Thursday. They played Kinston. I think they wound up losing in the fifth set. It just kind of fell apart at the end. But then they played this weekend. I'm not sure how that went. They had a tournament somewhere. They're actually playing T.R. Miller tonight.
At Miller, right?
At Miller.
Yeah, at Miller,
So we'll find out how that they do later on.
They need to set the tone for the week.
And Coach, you and I can't be in the stands and not analyze things. There's a few things that really stood out to me. When the varsity team started playing, the movement, the passing the ball, and the serving was excellent. It dropped off about halfway there, but they got a few players hurt that will probably come back soon, right?
100%. Yeah, we'll get Blakely Smith back. That'll help us out a lot.
21 days, but who's counting, right?
Yeah.
21 days was what Blakely told me today. So
someone asked me, he said, how'd the volleyball team look? I said, I think it was the basketball team playing volleyball.
Yeah.
Most of the girls really do play multiple sports.
That's
the
right.
JV swept, though, did they not?
JV did real well. They played good. They've got a fun team to watch.
They do.
They really, you can tell they're enjoying it out there. That's the one thing I like about volleyball. You can hoop and holler and act like a fool out there.
it's like part of it.
Yes, and the coach is like, I want y'all to act this way.
They have all kinds of chants and stuff, and
it's fun to watch.
Someone asked me how did I enjoy it, and I said it was money well spent.
That's right.
Yeah, it was very entertaining. Track and field, I went by the track, but I didn't get a chance to stop because I was on the way to Fort Walton to the beach.
Yeah.
And it was hot. So they had a really good turnout out there.
Yeah, so for cross country, they had, that was their first meet this Saturday. It was at the Covington County track. The boys placed first at the meet. I don't think we have a girls team, a full team on that, but Caitlin
Some
Bobby
individuals, yeah.
placed first overall in that. As far as the boys, I do know Quinn Dixon. He came in second overall. So they did really well.
Well, it was nice to meet the coaches the last couple of weeks, and that's where I'm going to take my first question to Coach Hall.
Okay.
I asked you earlier, what is your average age on your coaching staff?
Yeah. 24 and a half.
That's a little unusual.
It is. You know, it's interesting when we went looking for coaches this year, and we had unbelievable support from Mr. Cobb and our administration in terms of being proactive and helping us get coaches. You know, 3 of our coaches are college seniors, and we're thrilled to have them who are going to have unbelievably bright futures. But you know, at Straughn, as you mentioned, you know, we don't have all the money in the world. We don't have all that kind of stuff, and so. You know, when you go looking for coaches, it's a lot like looking for a car or looking for a house.
Right.
You know, you got to look for somebody in your price range. And you know, I could go hire some old guys that are you know, you can't get any good old guys because they're looking to add money to the retirement at the end of their career. You know, you can maybe get some bad ones, right? We could just get them here and we could just have a bunch of coaches to say we have a bunch of coaches. And really where I went looking was like young, hungry coaches who are wanting to prove themselves. And most of the guys that we have are young who have bright futures ahead of them. And you know, it's going to be hard to hold on to a lot of them for a long time because their careers are going to explode and take off. And that's a good problem to have.
Everyone very energetic, very personable. When you look around at that group, who really stands out that you go, oh, head coaching? I don't want to point out any individual. It probably could be all of them as far as
Sure. Well, you know, I can tell you this. Coach Padlow, you know, he came on board and was going to coach our quarterbacks. And, you know, I still call the offense and obviously I still, you know, control it. And but we gave him the title of offensive coordinator because he earned it. And that's going to
Good.
And he has taken a lot of the struggle off of me during the week in terms of like paperwork stuff, which I know that's a weird statement with coaches, but there is paperwork, you know, every week, like scripts and schedules. He does a really good job with that because there's a lot more on my plate now. And I say this to people, I say this to everybody that'll listen. Jackson Padlow will be a much better head coach than I could ever be. He has a really bright future ahead of him, and that's not to knock any of our other coaches. All of them have bright futures. Right. I think Coach Branham has a really bright future in baseball. Obviously, I think Coach Phillips is going to have a great career here, and so I'm excited. Even Coach Snake in the strength and conditioning field, you know what I mean? They're all good coaches.
Yeah, I will say I've got 2 kids in the high school, and I've got Abel. He's here. I've got one in the middle school, and you have a stand-up coaching staff, not just from the football side of things.
They're good
Even
men.
in the school, they're good men. They're good teachers.
Yes.
You know, Coach O'Neill does our JV. He was the teacher of the year last year. They do nothing but brag about their classes, about spending time with them. So you've got a great coaching staff.
I'm very blessed.
I want to say something about Coach O'Neill. We got him on the list to interview.
Yeah.
We're waiting on the basketball
That's
part of
right.
that.
We got him to eat wings.
That's right.
And he crushed it.
He did a good
He
job.
did a great job.
You mentioned Padlow. I kind of pull this into the game last Friday. Everybody knows Tate Watson, great athlete. He's a great quarterback. He does a really good job running the ball. He looked a little more polished Friday throwing the ball.
Yes.
I think he's maybe turned more into a true dual threat.
Oh, 100%.
Given that second threat with the passing option. I know y'all had Q school, all that. What has Padlow done for Tate?
Well, Coach Padlow, really and truthfully, guys, you know, when you look at and I'll talk about Coach Padlow, but when you look at a coaching staff, you know, last year, really, we had probably 4 or 5 what I would call credible coaches, meaning like we had 7 on staff, but we only had 4 that were making, you know, football decisions. Right. You know, it was me and Coach Wyndham, Coach Spann and Coach Wiggum, and those were really the ones that were like making impactful decisions and coaching consistently throughout the week, all that kind of stuff. So we really had like a 4-man staff. You know, from a football perspective, not an operations perspective, right? Like we had Coach O'Neill, Coach Snake, and other coaches on staff. But you know, when you bring in guys and you're able to divide players up adequately, when you're able to add technology to the field house, we have triple the screens that we had last year. We added a meeting room upstairs where we're able to now divide the team. And you take 15 minutes, and instead of a kid like Tate Watson listen to me talk to Easton Hatcher on how to down block for 15,
Yes.
you know, for 2 minutes.
Yes.
Well, now all of that coaching is directed towards him.
Sure.
And that's more important on the defensive side of the ball for us because, you know, some of the stuff that we do, we have to do it with all the positions together because, our Ace may make a call that changes what Easton Hatcher does, when we're in our tight stuff. But being able to divide it up has been huge, but being able to just kind of allow Coach Padlow to coach a lot more individual fundamental type stuff. Like I wasn't able to do that last year because Coach Wyndham had the O-line.
Yeah.
I had everybody else.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get everybody on the same page and get everybody right. Well, a lot of times the quarterback's the last one I talk to because I have to get everybody situated, And so now it's like he's getting devoted individual work, and we've seen him flourish and take off. And also part of it's just growing up a little bit, and taking it serious,
This is going to be to your past. Who influenced you so much in the offense that you run? Who was it?
I know Rick Colley, who I worked for at Murphy for 2 years. The thing I really liked about Coach Colley is he was not afraid to be different. He was really the first place I learned single wing stuff, which is not what we ran last year. We were flex bone last year, and that was, the offense we're running now is more the offense that I guess I was known for prior to coming here. We actually last year, that was the first time I had run the offense that we ran last year. Yeah. This year we're in stuff that I'm much more comfortable with. But it was definitely Rick Colley. He ran single wing at a 7A school in Mobile, Alabama, and scored 40 points a game. And, people were making fun of him for running a weird offense. And he was scoring 44 points a game, So, and then on top of that, a guy named Rick Darlington is somebody that I know and I think really highly of. He is kind of who taught Rick Colley the offense, who taught me the offense. And then, through the years, you just kind of make it your own and kind of develop that type of stuff. Yeah. And, I think when I first started, I was running their offense. I think now it's more my offense, if that makes sense.
A little easy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it comes natural.
Yeah, and you make adjustments and figure out what works for you. And there's some stuff that worked for us at Excel in that offense that doesn't necessarily work for us here, and so on and so forth. So probably him, probably Rick.
After this one, we'll get into the game Friday night. When you look at the path to Strawn, at your age, 31, you were assistant coach. It's your first head coaching job.
Correct.
31, fairly young in this state, is it not?
I would think. I don't think so.
Last year, you're an assistant coach. You live a life of an assistant coach. This year, you live a life of a head coach. You got to give us a little taste of the difference, if you can.
Yeah, I have a good friend named Ryan Hall, who was the head coach at Oakman High School in I think Walker County up in North Alabama, and he gave me some of the best advice. He said that the idea that there is work-life balance in being a head football coach is a myth. You cannot do it at a high level and have work-life balance. He said, what you have to do is you just have to find moments to kind of recalibrate. When you get a chance to be with your kids and your wife and kind of just hang out, like put the phone down. And my wife's going to listen to this and laugh at me because I'm pretty bad about that. And, or I'm liable to be screen sharing something on our TV so I can watch, film or whatever. It's a lot different. The hours are very real. If you want to be successful, if you want to do this at a high clip, if you want to do it the way the kids deserve it done, it just requires sacrifice. And there's I'll say this, no one has sacrificed more than Morgan Humphrey.
Yeah.
That's very real.
And that goes for all your coaches
Yes,
that are
all of
engaged
them.
or married.
Yes.
It's a big strain on them.
It is hard. And I'll tell you all this, like there's a lot of things I try to do around here that to try to keep it off of our young coaches on staff. Not to not delegate things, because there are a lot of things that are delegated, but just because I know they want to go home and see their families. Sure. I'm the one that gets paid to run this thing, and so it should be me on the. I don't want to lead from the back, if that makes sense.
I got a couple comments, questions before we get to the football, because I want people to get a peek into the program.
Yes.
I asked every coach this when we did the coaches interview about Midnight Crew. Started fall camp, y'all spent the night up here, got them out there at midnight conditioning.
Yep.
You had some coaches sleeping in cars. You had some coaches playing Xbox, PlayStation, all kinds of stuff. It seemed
fun.
like a fun time.
It was hard, but it was fun.
What was Coach Hump doing as part of the Midnight Crew? Coach Hump.
I was yelling at people. I was yelling things like, it seems like that alarm wasn't that bad now, doesn't it? Things
So
like that.
y'all, they stayed up all night. It probably wasn't smart. They probably stayed up all night. They had, what time practice start the next day?
I think it was 6:30. I think we were toes on the line at 6:30.
They were conditioned at 12 o'clock and practice at 6:30, right?
Yep. Well, the ones that miss, so the way Midnight Crew works is every kid is explained before summer starts. You can miss It's okay to miss, but you're going to make it up at Midnight Crew.
I got
and
you.
It's, well, let me rephrase that. It's not okay to miss. It's never okay to miss. But I mean, like, you know,
You're
there's
going to be held accountable.
yes, there's not a set amount of days necessarily. I'm a big believer in you don't put stuff in writing. You have to have some, because something serious could happen and a kid may really have to miss some days and it'd be a justifiable reason. You know, if you put in writing, you know, hey, you missed 3 days, you're off the team. Well, you know, next thing you know, somebody gets like the flu, you know, like a real deal sick, instead of just some coach I think might have a stomach, you know, the mysterious stomach bugs at 6 a.m. Tend to happen. Or I always tell kids I would hate to be an elder relative in the summer. I would hate to be a tire, or I would hate to be a stomach bug in the summer.
Something's happening.
Because man, I'm telling you, like when Witt starts playing high school football, if I'm you know, I'm gonna be nervous in June and July because there might be some
stuff happens.
yeah, like it never fails. If somebody gets, it's unbelievable.
One more question.
Okay.
Before we get to the football part of it, I've gotten to get. I'm driving by usually when y'all are rounding up practice, and y'all do something called the Circle of Trust, and love it.
Do too.
Tell
Do
me about
too.
that.
So Circle of Trust, I got it from the Naval Academy. So they call it Circle of Trust as well. And it's really simple. You know, we chart loafs in our program. And so what a loaf to us is, it's defined by several different things. The biggest way to define it, the easiest thing, and you guys can watch for them on Friday nights for me and help me out. Not that we won't see them on film. A loaf is a visible change in speed on a play.
Yeah.
If you're going for the ball and you decide to pull up, that's a loaf. And so really what a loaf is it's letting everybody down. And so, you know, we talk to our kids a lot about, like, there's a bunch of people that pay for tickets to come and watch you play. They deserve to see you play hard. There's a bunch of people
Totally agree.
there's a bunch of people that are working really hard in this field house with you. They deserve for you to play hard. And you know, when we chart a loaf, everybody owes us for that loaf. So what we do at the end of practice, we circle them up. Everybody buzzes their feet. And you have to run out to the middle and you announce how many loafs you had, how many times you let the team down. And then everybody does up downs for you.
I got you. And that's something in life, you know, what you do affects other people. What
Everything
you do affects the team.
Yep.
And then you're going to be held accountable for that. Not only that, at the Circle of Trust, everybody else, I hate to say getting punished for what you did, but it's part of it.
Yeah. Well, somebody's got to work hard to make up for what you didn't do.
That's right.
Gray Ryder just said, Coach Hunt, call me next year if you run out of ideas for midnight. I had a couple of DIs in the Marine Corps give you some ideas.
I'll take him up on that offer.
Yeah. We asked your assistant coaches if you gave them a day off, what would they do if Hump gets a day off?
Yeah.
What's Hump going to do?
To be honest with you, probably sit in my recliner with my kids. That's because those days are few and far between now.
Right.
You know, that's what my Saturdays are. I'll be honest. I don't work on football a lot on Saturdays. I trade film. You know, that's about all I do on Saturdays. And so, because it's, man, you know, some people don't ever turn it off. I have to turn it off or I'll go crazy.
Yeah,
that's pretty much how I'm wired.
Well, I love the positivity down here. The excitement's there. You've been in the community. You've met with parents.
Yep.
You've been supporting the boys. Your staff has success Friday night from top to bottom, in my opinion. I'm not a football X and O's guys, but I do believe in offensive and defensive lines, and I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and I'm going to let you take it from there.
Yeah, I was really pleased with our effort and physicality. I thought offensively, our O-line played with really good pad level and really good toughness. We also, something that you might not hear a lot of on like Saturday, you know, analysts breaking football down, we pay a lot of attention to what I call hat speed. You know, we want our hats. We may not be faster than other people. We want our hats moving faster at the point of attack than everybody else. So I think that's a sign of a well-coached team, and I was very, very pleased with that. And more than anything, as weird as it may sound, I was pleased that we made some mistakes with great effort.
Yes.
Because most of the time that cleans it up. It's amazing. Right. You know, you hear these things your whole life and they're cliches for a reason, but, you know, kids just hear them over and over again and they kind of lose their sting. But if you make a mistake going 100 miles an hour, more times than not, it'll be okay. Nothing's a better example of that than our last touchdown. Our center did not snap the ball.
Yeah, it was a busted play.
It was a busted play. But we played hard, and look who's running in front of Tate in the end zone is Andrew Berry.
Yep.
You know, a guard. So
yeah, I thought the game was great. 29-0. I don't care who you're playing. You shut a team out. That means something.
That does.
From the scores that I saw, there were two teams that got shut out close by. One was the team we played, and one was the team across the county.
Across the way.
No comment.
Yeah.
That was Clayton Woods, by the way.
It's really tough to go on the road. first game of the season.
hard, yes.
You never know what you're going to get, what
That's
you
right.
have. And they say you grow the best from the first game to the second.
Pretty
game.
clean
100%.
too for a first game.
I was very pleased. I thought it was very clean.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some missed assignments and we had some
Had
stuff.
one
that-
kid throw it out, but it was on the other team.
Other team, yeah. Other team. I was proud of how our kids responded in that moment. I thought that Friday night was exactly what I wanted it to be. I thought it was a testament to what we were doing. I think that, I had a parent afterwards mention to me that, they were like, Coach, that's not a very good team. Yeah, I know it's not a very good team. But we played as clean as we could play. We took control of the game. And really more than anything, it was a sense of success for our kids after all the hard work that's been put in because, we push them hard, like harder than most people. And, there was several times this offseason that, I'm not ashamed to say this, like we broke, you know what I mean? Like we weren't mentally tough enough to get through what we were asking them to do, but there's no callus without blisters. And that's just part of it.
So I'm glad you made reference to the parents' comment because I've heard that from time to time the last few years here, whether it's any sport. And you go, well, wait a minute now. If the kids are going to put forth the effort and play a very good game,
For sure.
focus on that
Yeah.
and not the opponent because it's you doing what you do the best.
Sure. Well, look, the reality is we go against scout teams every day, and I can watch it and tell if we're doing right or doing wrong, even though whether we could be doing wrong and walking them off the field, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't, you just see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can still watch, you can watch first steps, you can watch pad level, you can see hat speed, you can see all that stuff. And I was really, really pleased with Friday.
We had it felt like we had several players missing in that game, maybe from injury or ailments or whatever.
6.
Who are we getting back for the TR Miller game?
Parker Johnson, Gavin Bush, JT Marino, Aiden Joyner, Evan Harrison.
Every one of those are starters normally, right?
Yep.
Who
We're close to them.
who did the kicking?
Aiden Joyner did the kicking.
That's what I thought. I thought he was on the field.
Aiden Joyner served a suspension. He ran a little extra so that he could kick
Okay.
because we don't have anybody else to do it.
I got
So,
you. Oh, well,
I
listen,
got
hey, that's
suspended one
something.
time. It was doing 6 inches. Back
Yeah.
years ago, that was really true.
That was something
I
I
didn't
was
care
really
for it.
worried about was the kicking game.
Yes.
And obviously we lost a great kicker last year.
100%. Yeah.
I thought Aiden did well.
He did
I
really
did
well.
too.
3 for 4.
Yeah.
3 for 4. I was proud of him.
When it comes down sometimes it comes down to the kicking game, keeping
yeah.
them off the field.
Another thing about talking about all those players that missed Friday night, it was a good game to get them some rest. Even though I'm sure it was the first game they wanted to be out there. Had a lot of young players playing.
Started 3 freshmen.
Started 3 freshmen, and man, I know one had a sack and safety all in one play. Parker Hall had a
Bunch of-
sack or
yeah.
maybe more sacks.
More
I think he had
sacks.
6 or 7 sacks in the game. And also, I want to ask you about Casey Cobb. He's our
Oh, yeah.
backup quarterback.
He is.
I look at Casey and I'm like, I don't think that guy wants to play quarterback. I think he wants to hit somebody.
Yeah.
He-
Well,
he would hunt somebody. To
The
hit.
interesting thing is like the types of offenses that I run, Case and Cobb fits perfect.
Okay,
You know what I
okay.
mean? So it's really interesting because he throws a good ball, but he plays with the mindset that I really want a quarterback to have. I'm a big believer in like a tough, gritty runner at quarterback, and,
Sure.
and that's something that will, for the most part, always be able to produce it
I
strong.
think on that, I think it was the last touchdown. Tate had the long run, 65 yards or something like that. Kaysen got out in front of him and missed the block. Got up as quick as he
Hit
could.
somebody else.
Turned around, found somebody else. Let me hit somebody.
That's the kind of effort that we want him to
Yeah.
play with.
Yeah.
You're never out of the fight, you know. So
The crowd was a little thin considering a home game.
Sure.
But I don't expect that this Friday night.
no, it's interesting because several of our new coaches on staff were just, they were just so excited to see what the environment was going to be like, and they all said, man, this place is packed, and I was like, y'all don't
No,
y'all
you
don't
don't know.
y'all
I
don't
ain't
have
seen
any
nothing yet.
idea.
Yeah.
That
Y'all,
entire scoreboard area is usually completely full. There wasn't hardly anybody out there.
Right.
Yeah.
It felt like a jamboree game.
It did.
Yes.
Friday will not.
no, Friday will be really will be a huge crowd. These next 2 Fridays will be, enormous, and they're just going to get bigger. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm excited.
There will be a lot of people. There will be a lot of people come to this game who are not Strong fans, who are not TR Miller fans. There'll be a lot of people come to the Andalusia game who are neither because they want to watch
Well,
that.
this week we're the Powerhouse Sports game of the week, so Powerhouse Sports will be there.
Excited about
So
that. Do they still do Friday the Fever? Is that still?
They do. It's on WSFA.
Yeah.
Exactly what
Oh, I got
Power does.
Netflix now. I don't know.
we run the ball a good bit, so a lot of times we're in before everybody else game's done. And so a lot of times we'll flip on Friday Night Fever, and all these teams that throw the ball all over the place, they've still got like a half a quarter to play. So sometimes we'll watch that while we eat a hamburger.
Let's talk about the TR Miller game coming up.
Yeah.
That's the game that's coming up. Everybody knows TR Miller is a storied program, winningest program in the state.
They went on the road last week and fell a little short. They to me it looked like they had a few new faces on that team.
Yeah, they look a lot different. There's a couple newcomers to the group, and they're a really well coached group. And they had a lot of turnover last year. A lot of seniors graduate, but there's a lot of familiar faces. As a matter of fact, one kid. I'll tell you all this. I don't know if this should embarrass me or not. I don't learn. I've never understood coaches who learn the other team's players' names. I've never understood that. I don't have time.
They do?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that'll like write them down and memorize them. They're like, that's Timmy Johnson. And I'm like, that's number 11.
Yeah,
like,
I know the
so
number.
number 16, one of their inside linebackers, it was a really good outside linebacker for them. I think he was maybe a 4-year starter, probably maybe a 3-year starter, but he was the outside linebacker my last year at Excel. So I've already coached against, of course last year I coached against him, but
Right.
I've been coaching against him for years. And so he's a really good player. They bumped him to the inside. I think they have really good skill. And so they do a good job of rallying to the ball on defense and all that good stuff. I think that the back end of their defense is definitely their strength.
Yeah, they were talking last night on the show you were on about is this a must win for T.R. Miller? I'm not sure about that. I know they've struggled the last few games going back to last year, but I feel like this could be a statement game for Strong for sure. Really propel us into the season a little bit.
Well, anytime you have a chance to start the season, you want to put your best foot forward and you want to get started on the right foot. And for us to play a front heavy schedule, I mean, these next 3 weeks, we're playing T.R. Miller, Andalusia, Dale County, which is our first road game. And Dale County looks like they could win the region. I mean, that's real. And so, we have we have a tough road to hoe in a good way, but we're up to the challenge and we're excited. And I think the biggest thing for our kids is just having a chance to get that game back from last year. We lose by a possession, 20-13, and we gave them 3 possessions. We fumbled twice and gave them a block punt. And so we feel like if we can play a clean game and be really, really physical and play with great effort, we feel like we should find ourselves in it at the end.
How do you end up with a home and home back to back?
I don't know.
My scheduling.
I just asked.
Let's just do that a lot.
I just
That's
asked.
what I was going to say.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So to tell you the truth, I called Coach Cottrell and said, hey, he was like, congratulations on getting the job. And I said, well, look, we want to keep you guys on the schedule. And he said, Coach, anything I can do to help you, let me know. I said, I'll tell you what would help me. If you'd come play us here one more time.
That is awesome.
He said, Coach, I'll do it.
Nice.
I said, okay.
That's a good
So,
relationship.
I appreciate
That's where
you.
it starts.
Because we were having trouble. We thought we were going to potentially have to play 6 away games
Yeah.
and 4 home games because of some games that had been promised.
Right.
And so Coach Cottrell really did us a favor in coming back here. So I appreciate him. I do a bad Ronnie Cottrell impression.
I'm gonna try to repeat 2 things that you may have said. Is there multiple teams in our area that were in 5A last year?
4.
4 of them? And I thought you did a great job of describing the season in quarters, maybe 3 games, 3 games, and 3 games.
Yep.
Give me your philosophy there.
I always kind of look at, like when you look at your schedule, there's going to be weeks that are going to be more physical than others. And so you hope that your schedule doesn't have a ton of really, really physical games, back to back to back to back. But I don't know. I don't know what the philosophy there is. I don't know if that's kind of how I see it when I look at a schedule. I always kind of think about, all right, these 3 games, and there is an element to this of like, all right, what are the ones that are we're going to most reasonably win? You know what I mean? And you kind of break it down like, because I'm a big believer and I kind of work. So what I do on Friday morning of the game, like if we're playing T.R. Miller, Friday morning, as weird as this sounds, I will watch a little bit of Andalusia. Because it's done. Miller's done. There's nothing I can
You're
do
ready.
at that point. Yeah, it's just time to go call the plays.
Yeah.
And the reason I look ahead is because there are plays that go in each week that have a distinct look. And so we try to do some stuff each week that would be obvious the next week so that we can do other stuff off of it. Does that make sense?
This is one thing that I was hoping we could bring to
Sure.
the show.
Yeah.
That your typical fan does not hear what your preparation is getting to Friday night.
Right.
It's not just happens. It's a step by step.
It is, it's very tedious. And so I always kind of am cognizant of who is coming up on the schedule. I'm not looking ahead. I'm just kind of aware of it.
Sure.
Because I think that when you can kind of game plan in chunks, it helps. Like for example, something may, look really good against this team's defense. All right, well then it's like this team's defense, they'd be pretty good at defending that. So I can work a week ahead and say, well, if I make this play look like this week, the next week I can already be kind of setting up, what that looks like. I'm rambling on.
I may be digging too deep, but I'm gonna dig one.
Do you
more
know
time.
what Beth Wells?
I
She
do.
is blowing this thing up.
That's my mother.
Super fan over there.
Yeah, that's my
That's
mom.
that's your mother.
She said, "Man, Mom loves Coach Hump."
That's good. I'm glad.
She thinks you're doing a good job no matter what happens.
That's it. That's what everybody has moms
That's what
for.
they all love.
That's right.
Ray Ryder sent in a question. He said, from last week to this week, what is one point of improvement you would like to see?
Well, I always, I mentioned on the show last night we had 38 loafs last year was the first
That's
week.
what I was going to
Yeah,
ask.
and we had 13 this year. The 13 in the opening game this year. I'd really like to see that number be 0,
Oh yes.
which is I don't know how often that really happens. Like that's a challenge to us. I told the kids that. I said, look, I'm really proud that we only have 13 loaves. I want it to be 0 every week. It's
Well,
not,
that's 100% effort, 100% of the time, but you got to have a standard.
I mean, to me, like that, it just starts there.
Yeah.
But I think that, I think to tell you the truth, I'm really excited to see some of our guys get back in the action. I think that's
And we played 3 quarters last week.
right.
The energy level, the stamina, it's a satisfaction.
It was for 3 quarters, and I think we're ready. I think that we are, up to the task of 4 quarters. It's just hard to tell until you do it. That's the hard thing
right.
because, we changed how we conditioned this offseason. I had never done it this way before, but after looking at some stuff, I thought that I felt like last year everybody talked about the bye week being really bad. And I'll be honest, I don't think it was the week. I don't think it was the bye week. I think what happened was we were fatigued.
Hit a wall.
We hit a wall and we could never get our legs back under us. And so I think that we changed and adapted how we are going to, or how we did condition this summer. And it was a little, we didn't run them the whole month of June. We did not run them the whole month of June. And so, and then we kind of have staggered it. And so if you look at our reps if you look at our reps in the scrimmages, we had 38 reps on the first scrimmage. We had 58 the next one. And then I think we had 68 the next one. And then we played, about 88 snaps Friday night. And then this week we'll play 120. So, we kind of are trying to stagger it up to.
Well, getting those boys back too that you were talking about, 5 or 6 players, that's going to help with stamina too. Because
That's right.
It's just going to more bodies.
Especially for our big
Somebody
guys.
not-
That's the
sound
thing. If you're able to have 2, offense and defense.
Yes.
Am I reading this right? Did Chris Watson just say 2 of the best men I know are on his camera right now?
I must be missing.
It says 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I
must be falling
a little
short.
bit of stats from about T.R. Miller Strawn. T.R. Miller's 10 wins to 2 losses versus Strawn. The stuff I pulled up on the internet today. Our last year we lost 20-13. I felt like we gave that away with
Had
some
opportunity.
plays. We had an opportunity to win.
Yeah.
Our wins came in 2009 and 2010, 2009 and 2002. So we are due one.
We'll do one. And when you and I sat down a few minutes ago, you were talking about your busy schedule this week and what your plans were for tonight. Because of all the energy,
Sure, yeah.
and how it's hard to turn it off when you get home.
It's really hard to turn my brain off. That's one of the things that I really struggle with. And so I'm kind of always like when the season starts, I'm in it. It's almost like I never come out of it. And so with my plan tonight, whenever we get done, which I love this, I'm enjoying this. Whenever we get done, I'm going home and going to bed.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm doing.
T.R. Miller threw the ball a lot last week, didn't
They
they?
did.
I know you're prepping for that.
Oh yeah.
So
Well, it's going to be containment.
Yeah, well, they really struggled to kind of move Orange Beach around.
They didn't run the ball well.
No,
it appeared to be.
Yeah, and T.R. Miller's got a young O-line, and so I think they just need a little bit of development, and that's not a knock on those kids. They're playing really hard. I think it's just the nature of very similar to what we experienced last year in some of our skill positions, And so I think that T.R. Miller is their ability to push screens out there and to make you pursue side to side is really what kind of makes them tough to defend, and so that's what we've been working this week.
well, he was 20. I think McMillan was 29 for 34. I didn't see the game. I figured there was a lot of short passes.
Yes,
there.
it's side to
And
side.
Orange Beach is much improved too. A lot of credit goes to them. They were much improved in the box on both sides. I thought that their big number 99, who was from Hanley, I believe, he made it hard for them to get any running yards, and Miller really didn't have an option. They had to just try to extend the ball to the sidelines to try to create some, and it's just tough to play that way in high school.
Give me 2 things Strawn has to do to be successful.
We have to be the more physical team
have to be
because
more physical.
it doesn't look like they're an overly physical program right now. And so if we can play to our level of effort and physicality, I think that we will look up and have a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. And I think that's what really matters. So
That's what we're here for.
yep.
I told you, but I talked to you before the Delville game a little bit and asked you what did it kind of feel like Christmas to you.
Yes.
You said didn't get a lot of sleep.
No.
First
I did
win,
not- I did
first
not
win of the
sleep.
day.
Which sounds kind of like Christmas. I remember staying
Yeah.
up all night.
Yeah.
This game means a little bit more. What's Thursday night, Friday morning going to look like for you?
In some ways, I think I'll be a little more
Relaxed.
because at least there's been a dress rehearsal.
Sure.
And people ask me Friday, like, what was I nervous? I don't know that I was nervous. I was more so just, I wanted everything to be perfect. You know what I mean? And that's kind of my personality when it comes to a football program. I want everything to be perfect all the time. And so, it was more so just kind of being not nervous, maybe anxious, maybe eager, if that makes sense. And so I think this Friday definitely, this one counts for blood is what we say in the business. This one's real, and so I think that and everybody was really excited, and I appreciate everybody congratulating me on the first win and all that stuff. Well, I haven't won them.
Well,
yet,
I told you you hadn't won one yet.
I have not won one yet.
Yeah, this week is
This
the
is
real
it.
deal.
So
I have to tell a story about a lot of where your juniors started out as 6 and 7 year olds when they were all together. My concern was were they going to run the right direction?
yeah, sometimes that's my concern.
And the big talk at halftime was, I just want some water. It was that simple. Just give me some water. But
Well, it's funny because I asked our guys on Thursday in team meeting, I said, guys, y'all are going to play a quarter and then we're going to come in for halftime. I was like, I don't have to buy y'all a bunch of oranges for halftime, do I? Like, y'all going to be fine. And they were all like, yes, sir.
But I mentioned that it's got to be hard for the varsity in that Delville game because they're amping up, getting ready to play, and then they got to sit there and wait.
Yeah.
So I thought they did good coming out of the gate in that second quarter
Yep.
after having to sit and wait for a little while.
Execution as well.
They all said that was weird. As a matter of fact, you mentioned that. Tate mentioned that to me today. He said it was weird. Like, we ran out of the tunnel. I was fired up. And then go
Hurry
get
up
them.
and wait. Hurry
Go
up
get
and
them.
wait.
And so they kind of stood there and it probably was tougher than I think. If that makes sense, because I got to start coaching as soon as we got out there. They had to wait. So.
We're coming up on the 30-minute mark. We want to try to keep this close
so
to
you
30
can
minutes.
get to the house.
You got anything else?
Well, this is the first show. We do have plans to be live at one of the local restaurants here in town. You want to
Yeah,
share?
so we're hoping to come to you live every week, to sit down with Coach Hump. We may bring a player on or another coach, different things. We really want it to be interactive. So right now, if you could text the number that's on the screen, if you could comment on Facebook, on YouTube, we're on both of those outlets, that would be great. But come September, when Golden Rule moves to their new restaurant, and it'll be called M3's Grill, we're going to be there live. So you can come watch us, interact with us, talk to us. I think it'll be a fun time.
Have a nice meal.
Yep.
And we're excited about being able to do this. Coach Hunt, we appreciate you taking your time and talking to us. I'm going to show a highlight reel real quick I had like 5 or 6 plays.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So we're
You done a good
going
job.
to get
Yeah,
better.
we
and
appreciate
better.
you. Thank
We're going to
you.
get better and better the more we do it. One last thing, Andrew Etchers was riding us a little bit about the crowd
Yeah.
noise.
Totally
Last
better be
thing you
careful.
say, what you going to tell the strong faithful right here?
Guys, find anything that will contain loud objects. Get it and shake it Friday night. I'm serious. We need everybody we can get. I had several people actually text me and say, what can we do to get more jugs at the game? Because there are people there that don't have them.
Drink a gallon of milk and bring one.
Yes, drink a gallon of milk, bring it. I'll fill it up. Get everything you
You
can
made
get.
reference to the student.
You also
section
mentioned
also.
buying some pizza. I'm going in with
I
you.
will do it. If we can find a way, if somebody will take count, if we can rope off a section, right, and we can get as many strong students as we possibly, I'll talk about it again at the pep rally. If we can get as many strong students in that section, painted up, acting crazy, excited for the Tigers, I will buy, we will figure out, we will get you guys pizza, or Gatorades or whatever, Skittles, whatever you want.
I'd say get here early too.
Yeah.
It's going
Should
to
be
be
a pretty
crowded.
packed
It's going to be
stadium.
crowded.
It's going to be nice. It's going to be good and hot.
It is. The rain's going to come in and get out before we get ready.
Every time we've come to the stadium so far to watch a scrimmage, to watch a game, it's just like the temper just went
Yeah.
straight down.
Yeah.
It's been really nice.
Yeah, yes. Yep, absolutely.
We sure do appreciate your time
Yeah,
and
thank
look
you, guys.
forward to the next 8 or 10, 12, 14 ball games.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I'm ready to get the first real one under my belt.
Yeah, and a lot of thanks to Coach Carter for
Yeah,
really putting
thank
this
you very
together.
much.
Appreciate
Done
y'all
an
doing
excellent
this.
job.
We got a couple, a minute or two more for you to watch, but Coach Hump, we appreciate you coming
Yep,
in.
thank y'all.
We'll see you next week.